5 Ways to Turn Old Age into Life's Most Beautiful Autumn. Have you ever wondered how, as old age approaches, we can not only live long but also live truly joyfully and happily? The twilight years of life can be the most beautiful if you know how to prepare and enjoy them. But this doesn't come naturally. It requires understanding and practicing simple yet incredibly meaningful things. Today, let's explore 5 secrets to help the elderly live joyfully with Tuổi 60 Tâm Sự, 60 years of confidences. These are not just valuable life experiences, but also keys to helping you live healthier, happier lives with your children and grandchildren, and especially, without being pressured by unnecessary worries. Listen to the end of the video to see how many of these secrets you already possess and what you can do today to change your life. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on valuable future shares from Tuổi 60 Tâm Sự. Because life is a collection of stories, and old age is the time to tell those stories in the most beautiful way. Blank. Underscore. Blank. 1. Health is the top priority. The ancients had a saying, health is gold, if gold is lost, it can be found again. But if health is lost, all is lost. This old saying remains true for all times. In old age, when life has slowed down, health is not only the most precious asset but also the crucial factor determining the quality of every day you live. But unfortunately, not everyone realizes this until they face the deterioration of their bodies. Consider the case of Ms. Nguyen Thi Lan, 72 years old. Living in a peaceful rural village in Bac Giang, Ms. Lan, who worked in the fields all her life, always believed that labor was the way to maintain health. However, in her old age, she neglected self-care. Simple meals of just vegetables and white rice, combined with little physical activity, led her to suffer from high blood pressure and chronic joint pain. One time, she felt dizzy while working in the garden, fell, and was bedridden for 3 months. Only then did I understand that if I don't take care of my health early, all other efforts become meaningless, she confided. In contrast, Mr. Tran Van Minh, 75 years old, living in District 3, Ho Chi Minh City, is a shining example of maintaining health in old age. Mr. Minh, a former teacher, retired with a precious habit. Every morning, he exercises for 30 minutes, usually by walking around the park near his home. He also maintains a scientific diet, limiting fried foods and eating plenty of green vegetables and fish. What's special is that he always maintains an optimistic spirit. I don't let myself be sad for more than 24 hours. Mr. Minh shared. As a result, at 75, he remains healthy, travels independently, participates in clubs for the elderly, and does not have to depend on his children and grandchildren. These 2 stories show us one thing. Health is not determined by fate but is the result of daily choices. As the philosopher Socrates once said, happiness lies in the strength of mind and health of body. To have a joyful old age, we need to start with small but persistent actions. Look at your eating habits. Do you often skip breakfast? Or eat a lot of fatty foods, thinking that, I'm old now, anything is fine? This mistake is very common, but it is precisely the cause of cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, and obesity. Start by loving your body more, choosing healthy foods, green vegetables, fruits, fish, and whole grains. Remember, your body reflects what you put into it. Movement is also an indispensable factor. A study in Japan showed that elderly people who maintain a habit of walking at least 5,000 steps every day reduce their risk of chronic diseases like diabetes and osteoporosis by 40%. Yet, many people, for reasons of age or the mindset of, I'm old, no need to exercise anymore, have pushed themselves into a spiral of illness. Don't forget that just 20 to 30 minutes of light exercise each day will make your body thank you with healthier years later on. Mental well-being is also an important part of health. There's a story from an American doctor named Dean Ornish, a specialist in cardiovascular diseases. He told of an 80-year-old patient who had suffered multiple heart attacks and depended on dozens of medications. But after just 6 months of lifestyle changes, practicing meditation, eating healthily, and participating in community activities, the patient significantly improved their health without needing as much medication as before. This shows that mental health has miraculous power, especially in old age. So why not start today? Take time to listen to your body. Love it. And care for it as you would care for your loved ones. Ask yourself, what am I doing to protect the most precious asset of my life? Don't wait until health departs. When gentle smiles are replaced by dull aches. To realize that health is truly the foundation of all joy. You can change your life right now. With just a small habit. Walk more, eat better, laugh a lot, and maintain an optimistic spirit every day. Because in old age, the greatest thing you can do is to live healthily, to enjoy the simple yet priceless things in life. Blank. Underscore, blank. 2. Build harmonious relationships with children and grandchildren. People often say, family is where life begins and love never ends. But for that love to endure over time, especially between generations in a family, it requires understanding and effort from both sides. In old age, when children and grandchildren have grown up, life can become joyful or stressful, depending heavily on how older adults build relationships with them. Consider the story of Mr. Le Van Hung, 68 years old. Living in Da Nang, Mr. Hung was a strict person and often had a habit of imposing his thoughts on his children. He used to think, because I am the father, I am always right, but endless arguments with his son about how to raise his grandson made the family atmosphere heavy. His son shared, "Dad doesn't understand that times have changed, and the way to raise children now is also different. But every time I speak, Dad dismisses it and says we are doing it wrong." As a result, Mr. Hung felt increasingly lonely right in his own home. In contrast, Ms. Nguyen Thi Ha, 70 years old, in Hanoi, is another example. Ms. Ha always maintained a gentle and subtle attitude in her communication with her children and grandchildren. When she saw her daughter busy with work, she not only helped look after her grandchildren but also listened to and respected her daughter's opinions. Mom doesn't impose, she only gives advice when asked. Most importantly, Mom always encourages and supports us. Her daughter shared, thanks to her tact, Ms. Ha not only became a pillar but also a close friend to both her children and grandchildren. These two stories demonstrate an important point. To build harmonious relationships with children and grandchildren, older adults cannot rely solely on their superior position but also need understanding and tact. As the philosopher Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Listening is the key to breaking down all barriers between generations. Start with empathy. Your children and grandchildren grew up in a completely different era. Their values, ways of thinking, and lifestyles will not be the same as yours. The more you try to impose your thoughts, the more they will feel misunderstood and distant. Instead, be more open. Listen to understand that despite the differences, everyone aims for the common goal of family happiness. Furthermore, respect is the foundation of all lasting relationships. Even if you are an older person, respect your children's and grandchildren's ways of living and decisions. Remember that respect does not diminish your value, on the contrary. It helps you become a trustworthy companion. Another equally important factor is gentleness. There is a thought-provoking story from Japan, where family culture highly values the role of older adults. An 80-year-old man, when he disagreed with his son's management of family affairs, instead of criticizing, wrote a small letter, gently sharing his feelings. Thanks to this approach, his son not only listened but also appreciated his father's concern, leading to a more open conversation. Finally, spend time with your children and grandchildren. A warm meal, an afternoon playing with the little ones, or simply listening to your children's stories about work and life, are all ways to bond. Don't forget that your presence is the most precious gift your family receives. In old age, we may no longer be able to control the time of our lives, but we can completely control how we love and build relationships with our children and grandchildren. Remember, a harmonious, warm family is not a place without disagreements, but a place where there is always understanding and love that overcomes all differences. As people often say, family is not the most important thing. It's everything. Blank. Underscore, blank. 3. Have a rich spiritual life. A rich soul, like a garden full of flowers, not only beautifies itself but also spreads its fragrance to those around it. In old age, when physical health may gradually decline, a rich spiritual life is a fresh spring that fills each day with meaning and joy. Let's start with the words of the great writer Victor Hugo. When your soul is bright, the whole world will blossom. A bright soul is a source of positive energy that not only helps you overcome difficulties but also inspires your family and friends. But how can we maintain such richness? Especially when age brings many worries and emptiness. Look at the life of Ms. Tran T. Lan, 72 years old, in HOIN. Ms. Lan went through a short period of depression after her husband passed away. But instead of sinking into sadness, she began to learn painting, a passion she had never pursued when she was young. Each of her paintings, though simple strokes, was filled with joy and inner peace. Not only that, she also joined the ward's cultural club, where she found like-minded friends and radiant smiles every day. In contrast to Ms. Lan, Mr. Pham Van Minh, 70 years old, in Hanoi, chose to live a secluded life after retirement. He spent most of his time sitting in front of the TV, not socializing with anyone, nor seeking new joys. As a result, Mr. Minh felt increasingly lonely, and both his mental and physical health declined. Those around him noticed that the light in his eyes gradually faded. These two cases clearly show that a rich spiritual life does not come naturally, it is the result of personal choice and effort. You might think that old age doesn't offer many opportunities to explore or learn. But reality proves otherwise. Try to find things you love but never had the chance to do. It could be learning to play an instrument, writing a journal, attending yoga classes, or simply tending a small garden. When you dedicate yourself to something, your mind will escape negative thoughts and be filled with joy from small but meaningful achievements. In addition, connecting with the community is an indispensable factor. A study at Harvard University showed that older adults who maintain good social relationships live happier and longer lives. Participating in clubs, volunteer groups, or simply chatting with neighbors are also ways to nourish the soul. Furthermore, maintaining faith and spiritual values can also help you find peace. It could be reading philosophy books, listening to lectures on ethics, or simply finding quiet moments to reflect on the meaning of life. As the philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Finally, don't forget to enrich your soul by giving. When you share joy, experience, or help with others, you yourself receive happiness and contentment. A 75-year-old man in Japan moved the whole neighborhood when he spent time every day folding small paper cranes to give to children. This simple act not only made him feel useful but also spread love to the community. A rich spiritual life is not a distant goal. It starts from the simplest things: loving yourself, opening your heart to the world, and constantly seeking joy in every moment. Old age, if lived wisely, is truly the most beautiful autumn of a person's life, where the soul becomes a gentle melody, echoing eternally through time. Blank. Underscore. Blank. 4. Proper financial management. The key to living joyfully in old age. The ancients had a saying, "Money is not everything." But without money, life will be difficult. In old age, when income is no longer as stable as before, wise financial management becomes a decisive factor in maintaining a joyful life free from material worries. Let's look at the case of Mr. Nguyen Van Tin, 67 years old. Living in Binh Duong, as a retired official, Mr. Tin once believed that his pension was enough to live comfortably. However, due to not having a specific spending plan, he often overspent on unnecessary items, such as buying too many expensive goods or spending on luxurious trips with friends. As a result, after just a few years, he fell into serious financial deficit, having to borrow from relatives. This not only caused him stress but also gradually strained family relationships. In contrast, Ms. Pham Thi La, 65 years old, living in Da Nang, had a very wise approach to financial management. From the moment she retired, Ms. La drew up a detailed spending plan, dividing her budget into 3 parts: living expenses, a health fund, and an emergency fund for unexpected situations. Thanks to this allocation, even though she lived alone, she never fell into hardship. Not only that, she also saved a small amount to occasionally give gifts or support her grandchildren, creating joy for herself and maintaining closeness with her children and grandchildren. The above stories show that proper financial management is not about cutting all expenses, but about knowing how to balance current needs and long-term goals. 1. Create a clear spending plan. The first step to effective financial management is to create a specific spending plan. Identify fixed expenses such as utilities, food, medicine, and essential living costs. Then, allocate a portion of the budget for personal needs like entertainment, travel, or visiting friends. Most importantly, always set aside a contingency fund for unexpected situations such as medical expenses or home repairs. Philosopher Benjamin Franklin once said, "If you fail to plan, you are planning to fail." A clear financial plan not only helps you control your cash flow but also brings a sense of security. Avoiding unnecessary worries. 2. Save but not be stingy. Saving is necessary but does not mean denying yourself small joys in life. In old age, you can absolutely enjoy personal hobbies or spend on things that make you happy, as long as they are within your financial means. Learn to enjoy wisely, such as buying only what is truly necessary or participating in affordable recreational activities. 3. Avoid risky financial decisions. Many older people are easily drawn into risky investments such as large business partnerships or unclear projects. Don't let promises of high profits deceive you. Instead, if you want to invest, research carefully and seek advice from experts or trusted relatives. 4. Learn to say no at the right time. A common problem many older people face is difficulty refusing when children or grandchildren ask for money. Love for family is precious, but it also needs limits. You cannot sacrifice your entire finances to solve others' problems, especially when it could affect your own life. 5. Take advantage of support policies. Learn about and utilize social welfare policies, health insurance, or community support programs. In many localities, older adults can receive free or discounted services for healthcare, public transportation, or cultural activities. These are benefits you should take advantage of to reduce your financial burden. 6. Invest in long-term happiness. Finally, remember that money is just a means, not an end. Use your finances to invest in things that bring true happiness, such as improving your health, creating beautiful memories with family, or helping those in need. In old age, proper financial management not only helps you ensure a stable life but is also a way to maintain freedom and peace of mind. As an ancient saying goes, money is a good servant but a bad master. Let money serve your life, don't let it become a burden. A clear financial plan will be a stepping stone for you to enjoy old age with complete joy and peace. Blank. Blank. 5. Living in a positive and peaceful environment, where the soul finds true serenity. The philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." In old age, this applies not only to how we think but also to the environment in which we live. A positive and peaceful environment not only nourishes physical health but is also a place where the soul is healed, where the final years of life pass in tranquility and contentment. 1. A positive environment, the foundation for lasting happiness. Imagine two contrasting situations. Mr. Lam, 70 years old, lives in a noisy residential area in Ho Chi Minh City, where car horns, construction noises, and neighborly disputes are commonplace. He frequently feels stressed, suffers from insomnia, and becomes irritable and tired. In contrast, Ms. Wah, 68 years old, lives in a small village on the outskirts of Dalat. Every morning, she wakes up early to tend her garden, listens to birds singing, and enjoys the fresh air. She always feels healthy, loves life, and her relationships with her children and grandchildren are also very harmonious. What created this difference? It's the living environment. A positive, green, and quiet space will help you find balance, reduce stress and anxiety, thereby improving the quality of life in old age. 2. Create a green and tidy living space. A positive living environment doesn't have to be luxurious, it just needs to be harmonious and friendly to nature. Try decorating your home with greenery, small potted plants on the table, or a garden corner with fresh plants. Research shows that green spaces not only calm the mind but also improve mental and physical health. Additionally, keep your living space tidy and clean. A cluttered home can increase feelings of insecurity and pressure. Conversely, an organized space will help your soul feel lighter and more comfortable. 3. Build positive relationships with neighbors and the community. Your living environment is not just your house, it's also the people around you. Build good relationships with your neighbors and participate in community activities. A friendly greeting, an act of help, or a simple gathering can create valuable connections. In fact, Mr. Tran Van Heep, 75 years old, living in Hanoi, felt lonely after his wife passed away. Later, he decided to join the Duong Sin, mind-body exercise, club in his ward. Here, he not only found new joy but also made friends with many people his age. Sharing everyday stories. From then on, he felt life became more meaningful, even with simple daily joys. 4. Stay away from negative energy sources. In old age, you don't need to bear negative emotions or toxic relationships. If there are people or situations that cause you stress or anxiety, learn to let go. Life is short, and old age is the time for you to select what is truly important. Keep what makes you happy, and let go of what is not worth it. Avoid unnecessary arguments, negative news, or people who always bring a sense of unease. Instead, focus on positive things like reading, listening to soothing music, or participating in activities that bring peace to your soul. 5. Turn your house into a peaceful home. Your home is not just a dwelling, it's also a space to find serenity. Turn this place into a true home, where you always feel sheltered and loved. Hang paintings that evoke beautiful memories. Choose soft, warm colors for decoration, and most importantly, let laughter and warmth spread throughout every corner of the house. 6. Find inner stillness. Besides the physical environment around you, the mental environment is equally important. Take time to meditate, pray, or simply sit quietly and feel each breath. Stillness helps you connect with yourself, understand the true values of life, and find joy in small daily things. As the Dalai Lama said, let your mind be at peace, and you will see the way more clearly. In old age, a peaceful soul is the most precious gift you can give yourself. 7. Connect with nature to regenerate energy. Take time to go outdoors, walk under trees, watch the sunrise, or simply sit and gaze at the sky. Nature has a wonderful healing power, helping you feel light, relaxed, and full of energy. In summary, living in a positive and peaceful environment is not a distant dream, it's a choice you can make every day. Choose to live close to nature, love yourself, and always seek inner peace. In old age, when the clamor of life has subsided, let each day pass with meaning and tranquility. As a writer once said, when the mind is at peace, all things are at peace. Blank. Blank. Thank you for listening to the meaningful shares from Tuổi 60 Tâm Sự channel. In the journey of old age, every step is precious, every choice brings profound value. And we believe that by living a peaceful and positive life, you will find the true meaning of happiness. Don't forget to subscribe to the Tuổi 60 Tâm Sự channel so you don't miss out on the stories, life philosophies, and valuable lessons we will bring in future videos. Let us accompany you, helping you view old age with a truly fresh and complete perspective. The next video will bring even more surprises and interesting things, secrets, lessons, and experiences that will make you love life even more. So, please like, share with your loved ones, and always remember that old age is a journey to be cherished. And we can make it the most beautiful time of our lives. See you in the next video.